Hello, this is Stampy, and welcome to another behind the scenes video. Today, I am working out a brand new minigame. As of now, I obviously don't know what the game is going to be, but you may know because I only really upload these behind the scenes videos once the actual videos in my lovely world are out. So yeah, you might know what I'm building, but this is basically documenting my process for how I came up with the idea and how I designed it. And that looks like a key. Look. The shadow from the ice cream shop looks like a key on the floor. Who'd have thought? Anyway, so this is what the idea is right now. It's relatively basic. I had this idea last night in bed, and I don't really need to design a new minigame yet because I haven't even built other ones that I came up with the ideas for. But I just had to go and try it out. So I thought I would record it with you and yeah, show you. So if you didn't know, there is a mechanic in Minecraft which I love, where if you have an item in an item frame and then a trail of redstone going behind it with a comparator in front of it, basically as you turn the item in the item frame, and the item could be anything, by the way, it doesn't need to be a redstone torch. I just kind of did that because it makes quite a nice pointer, doesn't it? You kind of want a torch or a lever or something with, like, you know, a line. So as you turn this, it will light up the redstone in a line. So you see this here? You see that it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. If I turn it one more like this, it's going to go to 5. And then basically I could probably turn this to get it to go all the way to the end. Maybe one more turn, and then that's pretty much got it to the end. But then if I do it back to the top, it will go back down. So that's a mechanic that works in the game. And so my idea was to use this as an input method for kind of a slightly different mini game. So the idea started with, like, what game could I do that uses this? And I did a game in Quest where basically you just had to spin an item really fast, which was actually surprisingly fun for how simple it was. And I was like, no, I'm going to do something more elegant than that. And so I was like, why would you ever need to input a number or, you know, a figure? And so I thought that maybe it could be a case of where you're counting how many items are in a room. So say there was a room and there's a bunch of redstone on the floor. You have to look in and you have to go, right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you could basically spin this along to, I guess, to like 6 o'clock basically. But no, it wouldn't be 6. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be inputting 6. And so you could use that to kind of make a prediction. And then I was like, okay, there's kind of a concept there, kind of like speed counting almost. But I was like, there needs to be some sort of twist. And so then I came up with the idea, all while in bed at probably about 3 a.m. in the morning, which is when I come up with most of my ideas. I came up with the idea of there being mine carts, which are whizzing around a track. So the thing that you're trying to count is moving. And if you've ever tried to count something that's moving, you will know that counting moving things is very difficult. I feel sorry for shepherds that have to try and count sheep when all the sheep are wandering around. So if I put all of these mine carts down here and they're all kind of going around and bouncing into each other and stuff, it's going to be much more difficult to count these rather than if they were standing still. Let's add a few more power rails just to keep things moving along a little bit more. So let's do a couple more down here like this. Let's go and put the torch down there and then just break away these four for now. Also, they're annoying to break away when they're all bouncing around. But yeah, there should hopefully be enough power rails just to keep them continually moving. And you'll realize that now if I say, how many minecarts are there? Tell me now. It's hard to tell because they're all over the place. You can kind of look and I say, oh, I think there's 7 there maybe, and then you could probably make a guess. But if I set the limit to how many minecarts could be there quite high, then it's not going to be impossible. Like, you can definitely still count them, but it is going to be a challenge. So the idea of the game then at this stage is there will be 2 kind of areas like this, 2 input methods next to each other. So let's say it's red against blue like this. There'll be another one here like this, and then kind of the same thing on this side. And then each player is going to be guessing how many minecarts will be there. So I think it will kind of be a 1v1 game, but you'll need a friend to basically set up the minecart. So they would come down here and they would throw down as many minecarts as they want. They would then, this is the part I don't know, they would then do something with the redstone to basically make it so that would be the right one. So say maybe, so it needs to be a way that you need to get the exact right amount of redstone, but can't do 2 more or 2 less. And so they would say you have to put a torch next to one of them, and then that's going to set off a trail going somewhere else or something. I don't know what it's going to be, but that's going to be part of this process to work it out. And so each player would then get the minecarts revealed. They would both have to, as quick as they can, guess how many are there. I would go, so say if I was guessing, I think there's 7, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'd need to run somewhere else to a doorway, which would then be open, and the first one through the doorway wins, or their doorway. I guess there could be 2 different doorways for the two different players. So of course, if I guessed 8 and I was wrong and there was 7, I would run to the doorway and it would be closed, which would mean I'd need to run back. So where the strategy comes in is, do you just try and guess really quickly? Do you turn and go, I think there's probably 7, and risk running to the door but it not being open? Or do you take the time to really go, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and kind of count them as they go around, but maybe be slower? And then I think there's going to be some people whose brains just work differently, and some people can just literally look at this and go, right, I know exactly how many are there. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're one of those gifted people and would be very good at this game. So that's the concept in terms of gameplay-wise. There's obviously a lot to work out still. I don't know what the game's going to look like. I have zero idea how this redstone is actually going to work. That's going to be the challenging thing. And then also this area with the minecarts, and then how it's going to be marked that is how many are there. And there's a lot to work out with this game, but I'm really happy with the concept. I think it's pretty original. It's something I've never seen before. So yeah, let me go and get my head down now and do some thinking, and then I'll come back in once I've kind of developed things a little bit further on from where they are now. I've had a little play around with the redstone, and I've kind of found half the solution. I pretty much have found the solution, but then I kind of made a new problem for myself. So this is what I've come up with so far. It's relatively simple. So this basically means if there was one minecart, you would put it to 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the way around like this. So basically there's no 0. There's always got to be at least 1, because when it's up, you can see that there's 1 redstone lit up. So this is currently set up as if there were 4 minecart tracks. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see that the redstone gets to this repeater, and then it sends it down here. It turns this torch off, which will then make it so this torch can be on, which is the thing that opens the door. And there's a reason why it's not just a straight trail of redstone. I'll explain that in a second. So that would mean that, yes, I've done it, I've got it right. The problem is that I need it so if I did it 5 or 6, it would then close, because as you can see, at the moment the door stays open. So, you're just put in the max amount and you'd end up winning, which is not what we want to have happen. So if I go and now set it back to, I forgot what number that was on. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's all fine like this. But what I've done now is I've added another trail of redstone coming from the one next to it. I don't need to worry about these, because if this one's lit, then these have to be lit as well. So these ones don't matter. So if you switched it one further, it would send a trail of redstone around the back here, which would then turn this torch off. So no matter what's going on over here, this torch would be turned off, which means it would shut the door. So now, if I go and switch this to 5, you'll see that the door closes, because, as I said, this redstone's lit up. That's turned that torch off, which means you'll see that as I turn this around, the door will only be open when it gets to that number 4 position, which is this one. So there we go. That's kind of the way this works. So that works pretty elegantly. I'm sure I could trim down this redstone and make it smaller. So basically all it would mean is that the way this would work is basically the person would have to come here and they would place down a repeater. Actually, I wonder if there's a way so you only need to place the repeater on this side but not that side. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. The problem is I realize that this really only goes up to 8. And I think it would be more fun if we could have more minecarts. So what I want to try and do is come up with a method so we could have 2 of these. So let's go and put another redstone torch in here. So say if I thought there were 12 minecarts, I'd put this to position 8, and then this to position, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I could type it in like that. And so then that way you could go up to more to be 16 minecarts going around. And I think that would work. So that doesn't have to be the way. I could do it so it is only the same amount of minecarts. I just think it might be too easy to count how many there are. Let's go and do it with 8 whizzing around and see if you can tell, because like 6, 7, 8 might be difficult, but if there's only like 1, 2, or 3, like I think it's just going to be way too easy to work out how many are there. So I think it would be better with more. So let's just go and send let's send 4 minecarts around and see. Well, I think that's 5, and see how easy. So that's too easy to count. You can just at a glance count that, but say if I went and put like another 10, 1, oh, I'm just jumping in it, 2, 3, 4. This is a challenge in itself. This could be a mini game in itself. So yeah, so if there was this many, you have a glance at that, you have no idea. You have to kind of count that, and I think that's where it's going to be more fun. So I need to kind of come up with a new method so that it's basically combining both of these to make one trail of redstone to open the door. And I don't know how easy that's going to be or just how possible that is, but I think that only going up to 8 is really going to limit the challenge to this game, and I do want it to be quite challenging. But yeah, I was pretty proud of the method I came up with this. I wanted to share that anyway, but I'm probably going to have to kind of redo it all again and kind of work out the way I do it with this. I mean, it's going to be the same concept. I just need to kind of play around a little bit and work it out. So yeah, I'm going to go and do that, and I'll check back in with you once I've worked out some more things. I am a genius! Right, I think I haven't worked it out completely, but I've worked out a way to do what I said about, where you would have 2 item frames to type in the number. So I've done it so I can count up to 15, which is, I think, as high as I'd want to go. I think any more than 15 would get a little bit silly anyway, so this works fine for me. So this method is pretty much the same as that bit at first. So say if I was trying to count in the number 5, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll see that there's 5 bits of redstone lit up. But then once I get to 8, the redstone pushes this block, okay? And then that would start extending this along here. So that's number 8 there. So it's not number 8 at the end here. This is 7, and then this is 8 here, and then I could go, let's say if I wanted to do 12, so already we're on 9, so I'd do 9, 10, 11, 12, and then I'd go along here, and as you can see, it's lit up to 11, because I did it wrong somehow. Wait, how did I do that wrong? So that would be, so at this point, it's on 9. Oh no, that's on 8. So 9, 10, 11, 12. I think I just counted it wrong. Yeah, there we go. That's it on 12 there. So basically, if this one doesn't get turned the entire way around, it's done as normal with just this single one here. Once it gets to the end, it pushes that block across, which allows this redstone to extend, which then kind of makes this one come into play as well. And it allows you to go all the way down to the end here, which would be at number 15. So I think that's a pretty elegant solution to be able to do it. I'm sure I can kind of get the redstone more compact. Like, one of the trouble is now is I've got all of this pushed in tightly here, and I need to kind of fit all of this redstone in as well, leading to wherever the door's going to be. And then I also need to make it so it's easy for the person setting up the game. Like, the person setting up the game might not know redstone, so I'm not going to expect them to come here and set up a bunch of repeaters and stuff. Like, I want them to simply come down and place, maybe 1 or 2 items to set up the game. And I'm going to have the signs along here so they can easily see what the numbers are that they need to do. But in theory, that's kind of the most challenging part of the redstone figured out. All I need to work out is how to combine this with that section down there. So that's what I'm going to do next. And then that's going to be most of the mechanics set up. And then I'm going to really worry about the layout of the game. Where do the players stand? Where is the other player? How does it all link up? What area do they need to walk through in order to get to the door at the end? Because something that I didn't really think about is noise. So once you would open the door, obviously it's going to flap open and you'd hear it. But for the game to work properly, you're not going to be allowed to hear if the door's open, because otherwise you could just go here and gradually switch through them and, oh, I think I heard a door open, and then you can go and head straight through. So I guess the door needs to be quite far away. And that also works well in the game because it means that it's more of a risk to go to the door if it's far away, because it's further to run and then further to run back. So if you're wrong, you have wasted a whole bunch of time. So yeah, I'm going to finish off working out the final section of the redstone that needs to be done. And then I'm going to be working out the general layout for the entire game. Okay, I think I've pretty much worked out the redstone, how it's going to be completed. So I did this mock-up where I almost got it working. So this pretty much does work. So you can see the way this works is basically, say if I wanted the number to be, so this would be 8 here. So I'd say, I don't know, let's say whatever this number is. I think that's like 15, or no, I think that's like 13 or something. So basically, I'd put one repeater facing that way, and this is the one that's going to go to the door, and then this one is going to go and loop around back to the door there. So I'll turn this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'll turn this one to however far along that is. I didn't actually count. There we go. So that's that one. Then if I did it one more, that would go and shut the door. So that basically worked. But I then realized that I didn't really have much room on this side for repeaters, and it's just started getting a bit silly for how big this build needed to end up being. And like these kept getting further and further apart, and I didn't like it. So I was like, right, what's a good way to make it more compact? And I realized the best way was, rather than to have these side by side, is to have these vertically. So now you only need to stand here instead of having to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go to the other one, go 1, 2, 3, whatever, move them that way. You can just stand in one place and let's look up and down. So the way this works is you do the top one first. So let's kind of set this up, and then I'll explain how the redstone works. So let's say I wanted the number to be 11. So I think that should be, I think that's 8, 9, 10. I think 11 should be about here. I'd place this repeater there, and then I'd go and do the other one away on the other side. And then I'd go and turn this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this would go, so I think that's on 8, 9, 10, 11. I think that's right. There we go. And you can see there the door is opened. And then if I go and did one more, the door would go and close again. So basically, the only way that door is going to open is if these 2 redstone torches are in specifically the exact right place. And so, yeah, that's how the redstone's going to work. So let me just kind of explain what I did and what's working here. So the lime green wall, that marks the trail of redstone, which is leading to open the door. So as you can see, that it goes the entire way along here and the way along here. So this is basically going to be, there's going to be a gap there, and then wherever you place the repeater, that's where you want the number to be. But this green wall all just goes and links up here and goes straight to the door with these torches here, and then the white wall on the other side basically goes to block it. So it's kind of the same thing here. You'll place the repeater wherever you want. This redstone just links up simply and goes straight to the door there. So it's all pretty simple. And then the lever, the piston, sorry, the redstone for that goes to the end here. From the top one, the torch goes and lights up that redstone, which goes under the ground here, and then that's going to be the thing that turns the piston on and off. So that's pretty much as compact as I can make it. The thing I really need to work out now is how to make it a bit clearer for the person placing it down, because it's a little bit awkward right now to work out. Right, so say if I've put down 12 of the minecart spinning around, I'm like, right, where's number 12? So I need to work out if I can either fit some signs here somewhere without it getting too confusing, or an easy way to mark the numbers, and just a really clear way to show you where you have to put down the repeaters. But at the moment now, there only ever needs to be 2 repeaters, and you would basically go and say, if I place one here, I'd place the next one right there, and then you'll just move them along accordingly, depending on how many you're placing down. So that side of things works very neatly. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think that is something that I'd be able to build in an actual Lovely World video. Sometimes things get a little bit too complicated, and I'm like, maybe I should do this outside of video. But I reckon I will be able to do at least some of this inside of a video, because it's all simple. Like, it looks complicated, but it's all simple enough. It's just because there needs to be quite a lot of it, just because there's, up to 15 different numbers. If I kept it just like this one back here, the very simple version, it would be way easier. And you could do that. If you did want to do the game yourself, you could do it so you only have one, and it would make things way, way, way simpler. But I think the game will be more fun in this way. So yeah, let's cut ahead again now. I'll have a workaround, and I'll start thinking a little bit more about what the game's going to look like, and kind of really go deeper into the layout, and also kind of tackle how to make this entire area a little bit simpler to understand for the people that will be playing the game.